indoor classes were how we started. Parkour Generations pretty much started with the indoor classes here at Mobley, and there were outdoor classes as well, but mostly indoor classes. And it's pretty much like I mentioned to you earlier, our bread and butter. We have a lot of students come here. On average, I would say between 200 to 300 a week. They are not based on pure parkour. A lot of pure trasseurs would come along and think that it's not really holding to the roots of parkour. But what we are trying to do here is build up people's strength. We're trying to work on endurance, stamina. The classes, I believe they're about 8 years now, 7-8 years they started. They started even before we were Parkour Generations, before the company formed. And we're actually celebrating our 5th birthday this weekend. So the company's been going for 5 years, but we've actually been doing the class for a lot longer. You can definitely tell the difference between how it started. Pretty much you had to hunt high and low for a class. You know, most people didn't know even what parkour was. And even if you did know what it was incredibly difficult to find a class. I mean, right in the heart of London, there was a single class going once a week. So, and now we have classes every single day. Usually more than 1, 2, sometimes 3 classes a day, every day of the week now. I think a lot of people enjoy the fact that it's something they can do anywhere. It's not to compete against anybody except for yourself, and anybody, no matter what background or what your health status is like, anyone can work with parkour, anyone can do anything.
So in contrast to our indoor classes, the outdoor ones are, I'd say, much more realistic. They're much more about where parkour came from. It's more concrete, it's more rails. Everything's real, everything's hard. And in contrast to the indoor class where everything's quite soft and safe, most people find the first time they come outside it's a little bit intimidating for them, but they end up enjoying the outside environment a bit more because everything's a bit more realistic and a bit more involved. So usually the students start indoors because they're not too sure, and pretty soon they transition to the outdoor classes afterwards, which is where we want to get them outside and doing the real parkour basically. And the classes are usually split into two groups. We have a more experienced group and a less experienced group. So the beginners have a place to start and actually get involved too. But we also want to keep pushing the more experienced guys and get them to actually keep increasing their level and ability. Usually they're attracted to parkour in the beginning from just the physical aspect. So they think it's impressive, they love it, they think it's great, looks exciting, looks like quite new and fun. So that's usually what draws them into it, but what keeps them is usually that philosophical background, that kind of side of it. So always progressing, always finding ways to face your problems and overcome obstacles. And they usually find the confidence they get from the classes kind of carries across to their everyday life too. So by facing a jump that was seemed impossible to you, by just going through a process of repetition and practice and this and that, and when it comes to a problem in everyday life, it means that they can kind of go through the same process of facing it rather than avoiding it. It usually gives them a lot more confidence in their everyday life.
It's massively overcoming the fear is massively psychological. I mean, yes, you train your body, so you become stronger and fitter and faster and more agile and more coordinated and better balance and all this sort of stuff. So your physical capabilities are better, and therefore you're more likely to be able to overcome the challenges that you encounter. Eventually you'll come up against psychological barriers that are stopping you from moving, stopping you from doing things, because your body doesn't want to get hurt, and it thinks that, because it hasn't done these things for years, since you were a kid basically, your body is sort of, your mind is sort of saying, don't do that, you're going to get hurt. So you have to overcome that. Physical training is one way, but sooner or later you have to find some kind of psychological key, in a way, to sort of unlock your mind to be able to do it. And everyone has, I guess, a different key. Everyone has a different approach to doing that. Some people have rituals, some people have kind of a word they'll say, some people will break the jump down as much as possible, some people will train in groups and use the strength of their friends to do it. And the more you practice, the more you become quicker at that process, quicker at dealing with the fear. You become very familiar with the fear and realise that it is just something you can understand and get around and get over and get past. So the more you train, it becomes like a friend, and you know the fear is going to be there, but your process of dealing with it is very quick now. So you can handle it much better, and therefore you sort of the fear goes away for those things. But then, as you progress, you'll come up against harder and harder challenges, and the fear comes back. The fear never really goes away. You just become better at dealing with it.